All right, good afternoon. We are back, and I do believe we are ready to go as we continue our Guild Wars 2 personal story playthrough, currently on Season 4. This being the fourth chapter, and we're ready to confront the sniper, as we see up here in the top right hand corner. Confront the sniper. So, why are we confronting a sniper? Because we're trying to track down Balthazar's sword. Why are we trying to track down Balthazar's sword? Because it's a powerful magical artifact, and thus it can be used as bait to draw in Kralkatork so that we can plant some sort of tracker on Kralkatork. So, in theory, we will put the tracker on the sword, and he'll gobble up the sword because it's magic, and dragons love magic, and thus tracker on Kralkatork. But we need the sword, and apparently the sword was taken by some sort of mysterious figure, and we got to get it back. So that's where we're at. That's what we're going to be diving into as we begin this story sequence. So this story sequence, I don't like it, or at least this instance. All right, you guys got something to say over there? No? Okay, let's talk. Oh, Blish is on his way over there. I guess we better catch him. We'll talk about this in a second. About my absolute lack of love for this instance.
But I wouldn't go in there if I were you. Deadeye's got the whole place on lockdown.
By himself? Just who is this guy?
He's a she, and she's kicking our tails. Flooded the area with poison gas, perched herself in a perfect spot. Some sort of priestess, I think. Doesn't seem like she's up for a friendly chat.
In that case, I'll provide moral support. From out here. Stay out of sight.
Good plan, Blish. Okay, so why don't I like this instance? Because I don't find it very fun. Why not? Because there's some mechanics that maybe don't work as well as I think they were intended to, and we're going to see that here in a second. There's an attack that this shadowy figure is going to use while we're on our approach, and I don't think it telegraphs very well, making it difficult to dodge. So the alternative to dodging is to hide behind like various obstacles, but too often I feel like I get hit through the obstacles. Now maybe this is just we used to say in the army, operator headspace and timing. In other words, headspace and timing referring to on a 50 caliber machine gun, having everything gauged properly, so that the rhythm of the machine gun is proper, and thus it goes through its cycles of function as it should, and it loads the next round, fires it, ejects it, loads the next round, etc. Right? Cycle of function is longer than that, but that's the basic idea. But what you say is operator headspace and timing. In other words, the problem is you, not the equipment. In this case, maybe the problem is me, not the game. Just the same, it doesn't feel very good. And I will bet dollars to dimes that we die at least once, and it's going to frustrate me because I'm going to feel like I was effectively behind some sort of barrier or was in a position to mitigate the attack, and yet somehow I still got hit.
If you're here to claim his sword, turn around. You have no right to it. Leave now and live.
Voice amplification. You'll have to get close if you want to talk to her.
Wait. I know that face. You're the hero of Anoon.
Oh, good. Maybe we can use this to
The one who killed my god!
Uh-oh.
How proud you must be, killer of gods, slayer of dragons, trumpeting your heroism, no thought for the cost. All those lives left discarded in your wake, collateral damage.
Feel the fury.
Alright, so you can see the red line from the sniper to us.
6
And-
short days were given to mourn the fallen. 6 days. Then we reforge their weapons and return to the fight.
So it is that red line that represents threat to us.
But
That is
when I
essentially...
learned his sword was
God,
his,
shut up.
I knew my destiny. I will finish his work. I will kill the dragon.
Alright, so yes, red line, that is the threat to us. That is essentially the sniper having eyes on us. And so we try to stay out of sight by going behind all these various obstacles as we approach, right? But that red line, I understand there's like a little thing that pops up that kind of gives you an indication
I
of...
didn't expect whatever gods are still listening to deliver his murderer into my hands. You can hide from my bullets. Can you hide from my blade?
But I still don't feel it telegraphs the shot very well. And there were two types of obstacles. There were the solid stone obstacles, which are what I tried to stay behind. Things like these pillars here and this thing here, this pedestal and this stuff. Those are going to repeatedly provide you cover versus the wooden things like this right here, which provide you cover in theory for like one shot, but oftentimes that shot's going to go right through that. That's fine. In real life, if you hide behind like plywood and someone shoots at you, it's gonna punch right through that plywood. I love movies where like someone hides behind a door or a car door while they're being shot at, and like it provides cover. Doors and car doors do not provide cover. They do provide concealment, but bullets pass right through those things. And in this instance, bullets often pass right through this stuff. That's fine if it was consistent, but it's not consistent. It feels like a mess. All right, so we have made it all the way up here though without getting shot. So now we're in a spot to take the fight to the Deadeye Priestess here.
Know you?
You know nothing about me
They'll have to hit
or my
much harder.
priesthood, the family you destroyed.
We heal as one. I'll break you down.
You think you can take whatever you want because everyone calls you a hero.
Stop. Just let me.
Okay, so poof, she's gone. She is now somewhere else. I believe that's her right there, actually, if you just barely see that. But if we were to look at the map, right, it tells us where she is, way over there on that tower. Now, the logical thing to do would be to glide down. However, if we glide down 100%, she will shoot us out of the sky. There's something about the way they kind of designed this or coded this to make it so that gliding is punished. Where did I lose our little stairwell? I thought there was a little stairwell like right here. Ah, well, is this it? No. How did I miss our stairwell? Oh, it's over here. So we're gonna have to find other ways to kind of stay behind things. Now, one of the things complicating that is these unstable awakened here are essentially, they're like little heat-seeking bombs. They're not going to attack you. They're just going to do that, and then if you're inside that AoE...
People were celebrating, and I was afraid. Too afraid to open my lips to say that I remember him differently. You don't understand what Balthazar's priesthood was. What they gave me? They taught me that the things that had been done to me, the choices I'd had to make, those things hadn't broken me.
Feel the fury.
They had forged me. My scars weren't records of failure. They were badges of survival, of resilience. Balthazar's people didn't offer me miracles, only meaning.
Alright, so far this is going surprisingly well. And, it's a shame that her dialogue's competing with me trying to kind of talk about this, because the truth is the dialogue is good, in a way.
Really? Because what I want is justice for the god you murdered. Justice for my people.
We heal as one.
We're having trouble now.
I won't fall so easily. Not to you.
Alright, we're going to move back here to regain our health. Because where she moved again, she should have eyes on the top of this little tower right here. Alright, so where's she at now? On top of that, sort of, this thing right here. That's where she's camping out now. That's a long haul. Like, we're going to have to be paying pretty serious attention to what we do here, because she's easily going to have eyes on us.
After you, the forge was cold, the practice yards empty.
Oh, see, look at that. I don't know what the
Silent.
what
My
the option was
brothers
there.
and sisters, gone. I wandered the heights and called their names. The echoes came back unanswered. I am completely alone.
Yep, there we go.
You
So
have snuffed him out. People have
it's cool. Whatever. I mean, you 100% like that one would be on me, I suppose. Yes, so I really don't, as mentioned, don't enjoy this instance. See, I don't understand like the telegraph there. I guess that's what happens when you're a stupid player, right?
Feel the fury.
And that first hit put us at a health point where
Need help here.
we were going to struggle with that. So once we get up here, it should be easier, much easier to kind of make that approach. The worst part was the mummies back here.
Feel the fury.
It's too bad that this instance feels this way,
As one.
because otherwise it could be a good instance. I do really like the idea.
now the world will remember us only by the worst thing our God ever did.
I really like the idea of this priestess of Balthazar and how it feels for
Do you
her.
understand? You've made their sacrifice meaningless.
Yeah, like that right there. That's really good. That's really good. So it's a shame that that the instance doesn't feel better, considering what's happening in the story is like really good.
I won't give up the only part of him I have left. Clear the air. Rip 'em up. We heal as one.
Oh, I forgot that. Yeah, she finishes you too. That also feels great. Now, I suppose what they were trying to communicate here is that it's like this is a daunting foe.
Feel the fury.
But I firmly believe instead what they ended up with is an unfun instance. And it didn't have, like, her difficulty is not the problem. She got me on that one, that's fine. I can live with that. It has far more to do with the mechanics of approaching. Oh yeah, there's one more approach. I forgot about that, actually.
Feel the fury.
There is an achievement for like never getting shot by the by her sniper skills. I did get it once on my mid account, and then never tried again. Whenever I encounter this instance, my goal really ultimately becomes just to complete the instance, so I don't have to think about it anymore.
So, this is it. I'm not a fool, Commander. I know you didn't cause Balthazar's fall from grace. You just moved things along. I spent so long aching for revenge. Now I'm just tired. My fight is over. I'm ready to join my family. Do it.
All right, so I like the way they introduced Zephyr. Trash instance notwithstanding, I like how they introduced the character as this priestess of Balthazar, and how she talks about how being a priestess of Balthazar meant something different to her than how the world like now remembers Balthazar, because he was this renegade god. I've made no secret of the fact that the entire Balthazar story arc I think is absolute garbage. But if you're going to do that, this is a really good aspect of that storyline to examine. Really cool. But we run into a little bit of a problem here. Everything that we've seen out of Zafira here, still calling her Deadeye Priestess, her name is Zafira. I think we find that out here in just a minute. Everything we've seen out of her would kind of indicate, and her being a priestess of Balthazar, that it is more honorable to kill her than to let her live. Like, is it mercy actually to let her live, or is it like a dishonor? Pretty debatable. It's not that I want the commander to just go like, just killing everyone willy nilly, but the commander already kills everybody willy nilly. So why is this the one time? Like, we murder everybody. Everybody, regardless of the consequences. Why is this the one time we show mercy? And there's a reason, and we'll see that reason here soon. I just don't necessarily love it. Good character, but would she have been a better character if she dies here? I would argue yes.
It is you. From the vision, your fight isn't over. Not yet.
What are you talking about?
I can't bring your god back, but I can offer you a chance to finish what he started. I'm working on a way to kill Kralkatorrik without disrupting his magic. Help me finish it. Please.
Anyone else would simply kill me and take the sword.
Anyone else, you would have killed. And I've seen a better way.
We reforge the weapons of the dead to pass their strength on to others. So, you may have his sword. My help, on the other hand, we'll see.
Will you tell me who you are?
I'm Zafira, and you are not what I expected.
All right, all good, whatever's. Again, if that's how they were going to handle that's I suppose as good as it could have been handled. I still kind of wish we had just killed Zafir. This rifle skin can be obtained on the gems in the gem store if that's something you particularly want. I believe her outfit can as well. I think it comes as an outfit though, not in armor pieces. So if this is a look that like you really can we actually see her here? Maybe we a little bit. Standing right there on the edge, kind of hard to see. So if this is a look that you're particularly partial to, it's a look that can be obtained. I'm not sure about like the face paint stuff, if you can get that or not, but the armor and the rifle, sure, go crazy. Spend yourself, 15, 20 bucks, and it's yours. All right, we got the sword. Let's see what BLISH has to say about it. I think there were a handful of folks who really got worked up when they saw this, that you could have a two-handed weapon on your back like that, and then this sword could be mounted like that, and they were crossing on the back, and it had like a super cool look. And there was, there were a handful of folks who were like, I want to dual-wield great swords and nonsense. Hey, I mean, if dual-wielding great swords is like a thing, that's fine, but not in Guild Wars 2.
And you have the sword.
I do, but it seems, well, lifeless.
Dormant. I feared as much. To attract Kralkatorrik's attention, it will need reactivated, so to speak.
And how do we activate it?
Magic. Powerful magic. Luckily, we're surrounded on all sides by a potent brandstorm. If you carry the sword inside...
No. Next idea?
Hear me out. All you need to do is expose yourself to the brand lightning for 7, 8 seconds maximum.
BLISH?
As you wish. I do have a backup plan. It involves your large revenant friend.
Ritlock? You mean we can use Sahathan?
Precisely. I'll have time to contact him. Meet me at Sun's Refuge and we'll get this sword working. And just so you know, if that fails, we're definitely using the lightning.
Oh, Blish. I like Blish. I think they do a pretty good job with Blish. I don't have many, if any, real substantial complaints about old Blish here. Okay, where are we headed? Do we want a waypoint? Yeah, let's waypoint. We got the sword. Let's do magical things with the sword. How does that sound? Everyone on board? Let's do it. Oh, look.
You need better security.
Apparently. Does this mean you're helping us?
It means I'm keeping an eye on you. And the sword.
Alright, so we got another Agent Keto here who's just going to randomly pop up out of stealth willy-nilly. That doesn't mean I don't like Zafira. I do like Zafira more than I dislike her. I just don't like that kind of... There are certain things that ArenaNet apparently finds it hilarious or entertaining to do. One of them is have the commander kick doors. Another one is having people just pop up out of stealth. Maybe it's that the studio is quite self-aware of the fact that their stealth mechanic doesn't work very well. And either never works or works far too well, depending on game mode and circumstances. Either way, they like to do this thing where people pop up out of stealth. They do it with Kaith, they do it with Keto, they do it with Zafira. They probably do it with a couple other characters that aren't coming to mind right at this second. Whatever, man. Alright, Blish, Ritlock, everybody. I'm here with the sword.
Oh, good. You're here. Now then, let's bring this sword back to life. Oh, hello.
You can reignite it? How is that possible?
Commander, who's your new friend?
This is Zafira. She was a priestess of Balthazar.
And I am not your friend.
Nice to meet you, too.
Introductions can wait. We need to get this sword lit. Ritlock, do the honors.
Can do. Stand back.
Why does everyone give in to her bad attitude? I got some weak friends compared to Zafira, apparently. Cool effect, by the way. I like it. I like the animation. It's cool.
Yes, it worked.
Whoa, hey! Where's it going?
It seeks Balthazar. It senses his magic. I don't understand. Balthazar was never here.
But Aurene was.
The sword perceives him through her? Just who is this dragon of yours?
Someone who needs our help. Now, to enter the mist and attach this tracker to Kralkatorrik.
Won't be easy. Can't just kick in a door like a Joko's palace.
Actually, we can. If the Branded have been exiting through the rifts, it stands to reason we can use them to enter.
What, get dumped into some random who knows where?
It's the best shot we have. And once we're inside, Glint will protect us. As much as she can, at least.
I assure you, Blish and I have executed plans far more dangerous than this.
Ritlock, I need you to enter the mists and gather as much information as possible. Find out how to reverse the damage.
On it.
Enough talk. Let's get going.
No, Gorik. This time, you're staying behind.
What? Brother! If you think I'm going to sit around while you get first-hand experience with an Elder
My
Dragon...
golem body will keep me safe. But if anything happened to you, I'd never forgive myself. Gorik, this is going to be hard enough as it is. I won't be able to focus if I'm worried about you. You know I'm right.
Fine. But when you get back, I want a full report. With diagrams.
It's a deal.
Commander, before you go, can we... Everything that's happening, I might not get another chance.
Quit being so needy, Bram. Before we talk to Bram, of note, this, again, another skin you can obtain. As I recall, it's a Black Lion, like the Black Lion tickets. I believe it's one of those. I think there's an entire set, which includes this greatsword. Which was kind of weird, since this greatsword is specifically like Balthazar's greatsword. It's interesting that they included it in a set. But I believe they did, if I'm not crazy. I don't know why I came up here. It's not like something we're going to find right now. But I'm pretty sure they did. I do have it on my main account. Because I like it. I think it's pretty good skin. I was quite pleased to get it. I think it was part of an entire set. I may be mistaken. There was another set called Balthazar set as well. So maybe that sword was Gem Store skin, and then there was another set of Balthazar skins. I'd have to run it down.
I just wanted to say, well, I've been an idiot. I know it. Sometimes I just don't use my head. But no matter what I put you through, you never gave up on me. And I didn't. I was so... I mean, you should have just knocked some sense into me. Spirits know I deserved it.
Grief can make us not ourselves. It's okay.
It's not okay. It's no way to treat family. That's what we are, you and me. Family. Took me long enough. I finally got that through my thick head. From now on, wherever you lead, I'm right behind you.
Not behind me, Bram. At my side. To the end.
To the end.
Excellent. Now let's get this tracker business dealt with, shall we? Not that I was eavesdropping. Golem oral sensors. Sorry.
BLISH. So I suppose this is like the natural evolution coming off of, Bram and the ghost of his mom telling him that we are family, and so Bram kind of comes to that realization or whatever. That's fine. That's not all that bad. It's just a little bit overwrought, right? Like, hey, quit trying so hard. There's so many things you don't do well. Quit trying so hard on this. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. Okay. Where are we going to go to do this thing? All right.
This tracker will allow us to predict where Kralkatorg will be before he pops out. Our mission: enter the mist and get Kralkatorg to swallow the sword and the tracker. Step 1: find a rift.
At least that part will be easy.
All right. Let's go. All right. Yeah, you know what? Do we want to... Yeah, let's come up here.
Thought Marshal Thackeray would be here.
The general said he wasn't ready to return. But that's all right. She's got the battle well in paw.
Poor Marshal Thackeray. He's been through a lot, hasn't he? Oh, Logan.
They're like dandelions, popping up everywhere.
I don't remember what the deal is with this. What just happened? Huh, weird. I don't remember what that is. No idea why that happened that way. Kind of curious. We'll have to check it out sometime.
That rift should allow us to enter the mists.
Well then, by all means.
Well, here goes nothing. Any last words?
Let's not jinx it.
Alright. So what do we got here? We got BLISH with us. It's us and BLISH, and then Balthazar Sword. And of course, Balthazar Sword is not intended to do anything. It's bait, right?
Machines. It's a full-on war between Glint's army and the Branded.
It's a distraction. Glint is buying us time.
Then let's use it to our advantage. We'll have to set the bait further inside, away from the fighting.
I think I see a shelter up ahead.
Alright, so I quite like this instance as compared to the last one. This one I find very fun in a total sense. Not to be confused with like super compelling in terms of combat. I don't think it is. But you know, that's fine, whatever. I just think everything that's going on in this instance is quite cool. Unfortunately, I think what they intended to happen up here doesn't work quite right. So that makes this, like, you know, from a pure gameplay perspective, makes it a little bit less compelling. But there's so much fun stuff that does happen in this instance that I think we can kind of live with that.
I think this is our spot. Now to set the bait.
How much time do we have?
Kralkatorix senses the sword. He's coming for you.
Glint!
All right, then. The answer appears to be very little. Hurry and clear out these branded.
So I've talked a few times about how there's like a question of, you know, are these echoes in the mist of like other sentient creatures? Are they self-aware or not? And the most recent evidence all seems to point to yes, they are self-aware. We get more of that here, where Glint is interacting directly with us, and Glint's been dead for a long time, right?
Okay, it's now or never. Put the sword in place, and I'll get to work on the tracker. Keep an eye out. The branded won't make this easy.
So this is the part that I don't think necessarily manifested the way they wanted it to.
I'm not finished.
Focus on the tracker. I'll keep them off you.
So all the dialogue and the achievement all seem to suggest that this should be a period of time when, like, we are being assaulted by a variety of branded. That tends to not be the case. Generally, you can just stand here and hang out with BLISH, and this entire bar will fill up without you really doing a whole lot of anything, aside from maybe occasionally moving, left or right to avoid these AoEs. I genuinely don't think they intended it for it to be that way. I think they intended for some of these, whether it's this branded wyvern over here, or we got a minotaur and stuff. I think some of them were supposed to come through over here, and we defend BLISH from them. It just doesn't seem to be the case, though. That's fine, whatever. We'll stand here and watch BLISH work. That's what I always do when I'm around experts. I just stand there and watch them work. Maybe it's because I hate failure. I'd rather watch someone do a good job than do a bad job myself. Alright, BLISH is about 2/3 of the way done. Well, maybe 2/3. Hurry up, BLISH. This is a super cool environment they created, and we're gonna get to see quite a bit more of it here in a minute. In what I think is one of the best gameplay kind of portions, or really like gameplay moments that they've created in the story. There's something coming up here which I think is absolute fact. Let's go ahead and get it Raptor now. Something that I think is just absolutely fantastic in terms of the actual play of this instance.
It's attached. Come on, give me a signal.
All right, so now we're gonna get another thing happening before we get to the part I'm talking about.
Commander, it's working.
Kralkatorix draws near.
Glint!
He's heading for the sword. We did it. Feel that static? He's coming. Get ready to run. What's going on? The sword is turning on us.
Balthazar's magic. It's reacting to Kralkatorix.
I'll try to fix the tracker. Can you hold out a little longer?
Don't worry about me. Just get it working.
Alright, so now we do get things showing up, right? This is all kind of related to the, the sword reacting and lashing out and so on and so forth. So, no, I have no problem with that from like a storytelling point of view or anything like that. It just represents an escalation in the gameplay.
Is expensive. I need more time.
We don't have more time. Hurry.
I'm trying.
Now we do have kind of a pivotal moment in the story coming up as well. Aside from like the really fun part, we also have a really important part for like what the story is.
Escape. Retreat.
Blish, we've got to get out of here.
The power source. I can't get it to work.
Go. Now.
It's time to do some real damage.
I'll handle it. Go, Commander. Get out of here.
What?
I'm a machine, remember? He can't ram me. You're mortal. You need to get to safety.
I'm not leaving without you.
Come back for me when the storm passes. We've come too far to get in now.
Blish!
I'll be fine, Commander. Go.
Alright, so now it's time for us to go. The map actually changes, giving us the arrow and stuff. That's the indicator when like the dialogue has gone as far as it can, as far as Blish telling us to go. Alright, so now we mount up.
Don't be mad. I lied.
What? What are you saying?
The power source is dead. I can't fix it. But my golem body can power the tracker indefinitely. I just have to take my higher functions offline. Permanently.
Wait, what? No. At the docks, Gork said...
I know, but I'm just one person. We're talking about the end of the world. If I can find the time to stop Kralkatork, then...
No! There has to be another way. I'm not letting you do this.
With all due respect, Commander, it's not up to you.
Alright, so these are going to kind of show us the way, this volatile magic, right? We also need it because we're going to use up a lot of our mount's energy on these jumps. And the volatile magic is going to refill that for us so we can continue to run through the mist here, which is a really cool environment, right? A fun thing to see. Now, there is an achievement for navigating all this and, like, not messing it up and you know, making every jump along the way.
I can't, Gork. Tell him his big brother is sorry. And I need to. After you meet Kralkatork, keep fighting until you've made a world worthy of them. And stop keeping secrets from each other. All of you.
I don't understand.
I think all this is fantastic. So the thing with the raptor is like really fun, but also oh, we missed that. That's okay. You're in the air for so long on these jumps, it's kind of okay. I mean, all this is just like super cool, really fun.
If you're in the eye of the storm, I'll be shutting down my bunker now. Wish me luck. Kralkatork.
Blish? Blish!
And while you're doing this, you get all this great dialogue with Blish and him, you know, making this sacrifice to try and make this mission work. And I think that's really awesome. And it's part of what makes Blish such a good character. You know, they've done a really good job at writing several selfish characters, including the commander themselves. But now we get a character that is self-sacrificing in a very organic way, in a way that feels consistent with the story they've created and with the world, and with who we are as people, and it kind of is consistent with that. So, like, all that is like super good. Really like it. I think they do a great job with the whole Blish story arc. Unfortunately, that's it though, right? Because now we've lost Blish. He made that incredible sacrifice, and
Blish,
he's
say
gone.
Something. Blish,
Commander? Commander, come in. Are you okay?
I'm fine. But
I'm getting a signal from the tracker. Come on back, you two. We're gonna celebrate in style.
All right, so little things. I don't even know if they realized how good because they do so many things that like aren't necessarily good. I don't know if they realized how good that is, what they do right there when they did it. But Timey's obliviousness to our current state, even because we kind of communicate something. We're trying to kind of mention to her, right? We say I'm fine, and we don't even get a chance to say anything, and she's going on. We got the signal. Come on back, you two. Her obliviousness to what we just experienced and the loss of Blish and everything, and her attitude, like that's all really, really good. Um, if only because I can sympathize with that in terms of some of my own experiences. The disconnect between people who have no idea something terrible happened and the people who experience it directly is so profound and so vast. And we see that represented here. Again, whether they realized it or not, it's a success. But the fact remains that we did lose Blish, and Timey and Gorick are going to have to find out, and they're going to have to find out kind of right now, right? Because we're on our way to talk to them. And I think they do a good job of this as well. In fact, I think they do an excellent job of this. And they're going to bring some of Blish's dialogue back around too. All this is pretty good. For a studio that like botches this kind of thing so often, they do a really good job here.
You did it, Commander. We're receiving a signal from the tracker.
Wait, where's...
I had my doubts about whether the sword's magnetic pull
Gorick, there's something I need
would still be functional. But like always, Blish was 100% correct. I don't...
Listen to me. Blish had to...
Don't know how I ever doubted him. Blish can do anything he puts his mind to.
Gorick, please.
Did he say anything?
He said... he's sorry.
But I saved him.
Gorick, wait.
Let him go.
There's something else. He said we need to stop keeping secrets from each other.
Blish. I guess it's time. I wasn't ready to tell you, but, my condition... It's not in remission anymore. It's getting worse.
Worse how?
Sometimes the pain is so bad I can hardly focus. I can't calculate how much time I have, but there's an end. Blish was the only one I told. I thought he might be able to help me stay here longer, but now he's...
Timing. If we had known...
Blish sacrificed himself to give us time to stop Kralkatorrik. That's our priority.
Do you ever slow down?
Hey, we have a job to do. But there's no way we can do this without Aurene. We have to find her.
How? She didn't exactly leave a note.
I think I can help with that. The priestess was right. You do need better security. We have a lot to talk about, don't we?
All right. So as I said, largely, yeah, we'll get to that. Largely, I really like this. Quite a lot. There is one thing that I don't like, so let's get that over with up front, and then we'll circle around to the rest of this because lots of good stuff. What I don't like is Timey's condition being in remission. Like, I don't have a problem with that. Fundamentally, the problem is like, if you're gonna like present this as a thing, then it needs to remain relevant, right? Don't like tug at our heartstrings right here in chapter 4 of season 3, only for it to like kind of not be relevant again going forward. But that's exactly what they do. Oh my gosh, bad news on top of bad news. We lose Blish, and Timey's condition is no longer in remission. Timey is getting worse. But this was years and years ago. Timey's still with us as we crash through End of Dragons and continue forward in the story. Is that a spoiler? I mean, I guess, but it shouldn't surprise you. So why make that a part of the story at all? right? Unless you're going to do something with this. So at some point, like, Tommy needs to die. It's because otherwise we get more of this nonsense where death has no meaning in this world, and we get so much of that already. I get it. If we die as the player character, we can respawn because we are the player character and it's a video game. That's cool. But don't do this with the NPCs, or it devalues the story. It devalues the threat of the Elder Dragons. It devalues our relationship with all these different NPCs, because if they die, we can just bring them back. And that's not good. So when something like Tammy's illness getting worse is presented, you need to follow through on it. They don't do that. Okay, having said that, I often talk about how while I don't like Tammy as a character, I think her voice actor is fantastic. I stand by it. There's no reason to deviate from that in this instance. Once again, that voice actress does a great job in this instance. But another voice actor also does a fantastic job, and that is Gorix. I think Gorix is gone. I don't know that we can find him back here somewhere and talk to him. Unlike the others, they have a little green thing over their head. I think Gorix, like, Gonzo, though. He's not around. As is appropriate. I like his reaction. I like it, his slow realization. I like him kind of walking off. Most of all, I like what he says, and I like the way they implement it. But I saved him. So remember, BLISH was put into the golem body by Gorix in the first place in order to preserve his life. So how much more crushing is it to Gorix than everyone else? Plus, he's his brother. There's also that significant piece. But that sense of futility that Gorix must be feeling, like that must be colossal, right? So I love that. I love, genuinely, how they executed most of that. I just don't like the piece with Tammy's condition. And I wouldn't have a problem with that either if they'd follow through on it at some point. But they've waited far too long to do that. Alright, and then we got Zafira here. I don't know what she might have to say about it. Let's ask her, I guess.
About your friend. His choice was a noble one. You should grieve, yes. But be proud of him. In my priesthood, we tend a hearth for 6 days to honor the fallen. If you want, I can...
I'd like that.
Alright. I don't actually want to know about Zafira's past. I guess we should. This is our opportunity. I guess we should do that.
You can't.
Good. I really didn't want to be honest. So, good. I kind of like where we're going with this. Like, I'm kind of okay with it. I still wish that as a priestess of Balthazar, she was a little bit more war-oriented. Maybe something about, while BLISH wasn't a warrior, he demonstrated the spirit of a warrior or something like that. Self-sacrifice is at the core of, some kind of warrior ethos. We don't really get that, but just the same. I like Zafira's dialogue. It's good. Bram, what are your thoughts?
I know you're beating yourself up about BLISH, but he gave his life to save the world. We should all be so lucky. It's like that thing the Olmecon say. His memory is a star to guide us.
Okay, so as you may recall, literally the name of this chapter, wrong thing, is a star to guide us. So unbeknownst to us, maybe that's kind of a hint as to what's to come, but we couldn't possibly know that when the chapter starts out. I like it. It just, by now, Bram has kind of become a tiresome character. I've said many times, I don't think he's nearly as bad as people make him out to be, but by now he's kind of a tiresome character. Timmy, still have the energy to fight Kralkatorrik. Just please let me help. So, this is an interesting thing. I don't know. Sometimes they do things that I think are good, and I don't know that they realize they're doing them, because so much of what they do is bad. If they were like really, really good at storytelling, then they would do more things good than bad, and they don't really. So when they do like really nail stuff, sometimes I think it's just like a blind squirrel getting a nut, kind of a broken clock is right twice a day sort of thing. But so if you've ever been around people who are in close proximity to an absolute catastrophe, right, or to something very bad, losing someone, and where I've seen this is in combat, right? If you're around people when someone dies in combat, what you will see is that they all, particularly if they're removed from the situation, right? Because if you're really, really close to the situation, you can actually impact it. Then you're going to do the things that you can to impact it. So if I'm standing right there and someone gets shot in the guts, I'm going to give first aid. That's not what I'm talking about here, because that is a tangible effect. But the people are removed from it, right? So let's say you're out on patrol, somebody gets shot in the gut, and people back at the base find out. They're not there on the patrol. They can't do anything. What manifests psychologically is that they try to do something. It'll be something completely unrelated to the tragedy, but they feel a need to do something because they can't face that feeling of futility. So like the example I always use is the mechanic, right? When the mechanic finds out that some guy got shot in the guts out on patrol, he's going to go to the motor pool and he's going to like turn wrenches and fix vehicles and do something, because that's how he knows to make himself useful, and it's the best coping mechanism he has, or she has, or whatever. It's the closest they can come to impacting the situation positively. And I think probably, like I'm not a psychologist, but probably that's as positive a coping mechanism as you can ask for in that situation. So we kind of have a little bit of that out of Timey here, where she's, just revealed to us that she's like in so much pain at times that she can barely work, but she doesn't want to stop working. And I like to imagine in my head that in part that is her reaction to the realization that BLISH is gone. Be that as it may, the commander throws it back in her face because the commander's the biggest piece of trash in the game. Forget that now. I want to be here for you. Nobody wants you to be here, Commander. Like, allow people to deal with their stuff.
I can't stop thinking about BLISH. He seemed so invincible. I finally had him back for good. And now... he could have lived forever in that golem body. How could he just throw that away?
Some more good dialogue and more great voice acting, honestly. Okay, we just have a repetition here of what she just said. I don't like this dialogue. I mean, it's fine. It's a logical... So this is generally how people are going to react. This is a realistic response to a realistic statement. Unaware of the fact that really what you're doing is like you're almost putting it back on the person who just said the thing. So this person asks a question that's kind of, existential in nature. How could he just throw that away? And we dump it back on them. Well, he cared for you. Your life was precious to him, and almost implying that the responsibility is on Timey. People do that though, so it's not unrealistic dialogue. It just
He chose to help a lot of people despite the cost. His life meant something. His death meant something. That's powerful, isn't it? I just hope I get a chance like that.
All right, so there it is, our internet. Like, if you want to one day like bring Timey around full circle and make like this like Timey's dying thing worthwhile, there it is. And you can bring it around at some other point where she makes a similar sacrifice, and we can all remember this moment. We can feel warm and fuzzy about it, and it's not complete garbage. Do I expect them to? No, I kind of expect Timey to live forever because they can't help themselves. But that would be the better option. All right, so that wraps up. Here, we'll just spin this around. We'll do this right here. That wraps up Chapter 4 of Season 4. So we are screaming right along. We're going to continue to scream right along and move towards Chapter 5. Chapter 5 is not one that I particularly love. It's could have done without it. But it paves the way for Chapter 6, and Chapter 6 is actually like kind of fun in a number of ways. And I'm looking forward. This weekend we're going to finish Season 4, and we're going to move to Icebrood Saga. Icebrood Saga has some better storytelling, so I'm looking forward to that. Not that it's amazing. I don't know that they've ever nailed amazing storytelling, but it is an improvement, so I'm looking forward to that. We're going to wrap up Season 4 this weekend, and we're going to insert a video break here. When we come back, we're going to be in Chapter 5 of Season 4, so we can work towards that goal. So thank you, and I will see you soon.